Hey guys, it's Daniel. So today we're going to continue on the color channel and move on to the Gobo channel. And hopefully, my goal, if I can bring it up over here, my goal will be to get us through even Gobo channel 2. But we shall see. But Gobo channel 1 and 2 are basically the same. Shouldn't take that long. So yeah, let's go ahead and get started with finishing color channel. So if we take a look at our color channel, we will see the last bit will say forward rainbow, fast to slow, no rotation, backwards rainbow, slow to fast. Those are the values. Those are the last few values that we need to put in this channel in order for it to be complete. So the way that you can do that is go ahead and select this guy, add below, and we're going to change this to a function of color. And we're going to do a spin, a feature of spin, and we're going to go 1 through 300. And something that we need to do, oh great, the only thing that we need to change here now, let me see if I can switch to my other mouse, my gaming mouse. All right, we're going to switch this to a function of color 2. The reason why we don't need this to be a function of color 1 is because you can't have a function qualified against itself. It just, Hawk doesn't work that way. It's just how it is. So if we pull our calculator over, oh, sorry, I thought I selected it. And if you look at our DMX values, it will say fast to slow starting at 200 to 224. So basically what that's saying is we need to do 224, oh, whoopsie. 224 to 200, and that will get us these DMX values for our 16-bit channel. 57599. I'm just going to go ahead and move this back so I can read it. So we do need 57599 through 51200 or 51,200. So the reason I was able to extrapolate these values is if you look at our lovely DMX protocol, it will say fast to slow. The way that I read it is DMX value 200 is fast, DMX value 224 is slow. And in Hog, you can only have it in this order, 1 to 300. So slow is the bigger value, fast is the smaller value. Why would it make sense? Who knows? I feel like manufacturers never do. So now we're going to do the reverse rotation. Oop. So now we're going to do the reverse rotation. Make sure that says, okay, great, that's the correct thing. And now we have a DMX value of 231, 231 to 255, which gets us two values of 59136 through 65535. Okay, and we're going to add a value above. We're going to set this to 0 because we do need a real world value of 0 for this to work properly. And that is, sorry, I got to move my mic, 225. And that is a DMX real world, a DMX value of, sorry, my dog is asking for pets. 57855. And what we need to do here is change this to any, because we can have any value of color 2 slots on color function color features feature spin real world value 0. We don't care. When it's 0, we just don't care. It's just like, yeah, be whatever you want. Fine. So something what's going to happen is if we try to build this should fail. And what it would tell us, if it decides to fail for the right reason, it would tell us that we need to assert negative 300 to negative 1 RPM and 1 to 300 RPM on all these values for color wheel 2. In other words, we need to add a value, a qualifier, if you will, and change this to a function of color. Oops, sorry. I always forget this. Function of color, feature of spin, and we're going to do 1 through 300. And we're going to add another thing below where we're going to do negative 300 through, through negative 1. Now, it shouldn't give us an error, at least for this value. Go ahead and continue with the rest of the values. I'll see you on the other side. All right, so I have qualified everything. If you can see my 1 to 300, negative 300 to negative 1 on all of color wheel 2. And if I build type, haha, yes, I ran into that error too. So go ahead and export. And yes. And if I delete the type, import the type, now it builds as we would expect. And if you go ahead and patch it, Astra, and we're going to do that. And now let's go ahead and open our, oh my, oh dear. That's what I get for using a 4K display. We're just going to keep that over there. Actually, no, we shouldn't. Default positions. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to go to color. And now if I turn this wheel, you'll see the DMX values change. You'll see this is doing its thing. Great. It's what we would expect. And if I change this, look, it goes to open. And if I change this, and then this goes back to open. So that's exactly what we would expect. Now we know that we've qualified it correctly. So go ahead and unpatch it so that we don't have any issues with it. Or remove it entirely, really. And then let's start on our Gobo channel. So, if you look at our Gobo channel, you'll see like 3 different things. You'll see Gobo indexing, Gobo rotation, Gobo shaking, and each one is for Gobo 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then what you'll also see again is our forward rotation, fast to slow, no rotation, backwards real rotation, slow to fast. It's the same thing. The main difference here is when you start qualifying it, you'll have to qualify this value, Gobo 1 for Gobo indexing, which is DMX value 12, with the function Gobo rotate with feature index. Now, if you see later, you'll see Gobo 1 and it mentions Gobo rotation. So instead of qualifying against Gobo rotate feature index, you'll qualify it against Gobo rotate feature rotate. And then Gobo shaking is its own function entirely, which we'll get over when we get there. But that's kind of what you have to do. Let's go ahead and get started. And fortunately for us, this one is not a 16-bit channel. So after we add a value, we will have to add 2 qualifiers, one for Gobo offset and the other for Gobo shake, and it needs to be at 0. Then we'll add another value, and we're going to set it to disallowed. And we need to disallow, let's get rid of that, Gobo rotate, Gobo index, negative 180 through negative 1, and add a value below. And it's basically the reverse, which is 1 through 180. And then we're going to add below. We're going to do rotate 1 through 300. Add below negative 300 to 1, or negative 1. Great. And now we're going to add another value below, and we're going to set this to Gobo 1. So DMX value 12. Value Gobo 1. Make sure to add a qualifier of Gobo offset. And we'll move that guy up. Oh, meant to move him up. And then we're going to delete all these other guys. We don't need them. The only one that we need left, or the only two that we really, really need, or really three, actually, sorry, is Gobo Shake. Great. And we can go ahead and move that up. So we need Gobo with feature index value any. So this is how our Gobo channel will look for the first part of Gobo indexing. Go ahead and complete Gobo 1 through 7. It should basically look exactly like this. Okay, so if you look, you'll see we're completely qualified out over here. Make sure to have 3 qualifiers: Gobo offset, Gobo shake, and Gobo rotate feature index. Make sure shake is set to 0. Well, because of the way that we have to set up Gobo shaking later on in the channel. So our next step, if we add below again, we'll set it back to Gobo 1. Now the main difference here, and what's going to set us apart so we don't overlap, is feature rotate. Oh, and make sure to set this to any. So go ahead and add the rest of the Gobos for Gobo rotation. Okay, great. So remember that there are 3 qualifiers for this. We need Gobo offset, Gobo shake, Gobo rotate with a feature of rotate. And that is what sets us apart from up here. So we don't have any overlap. So our next step is Gobo shake. So let's go ahead and add that. Gobo shake is its own special function. Not really so much that it's special, but it's its own thing. And typically Hog uses a real world value range of 0 to 10 hertz. We're going to go ahead and disallow. We're going to delete this. And we're going to delete this. We're going to keep that because we can't rotate while we shake, but we can index while we shake. So we're going to go ahead and set this to open. The reason why is because we can't shake nothing. So we have to disallow it so that when the user turns the Gobo shake encoder, we go to Gobo 1. All right. And then what we'll also have to disallow is Gobo spin. And we can disallow any value so that we know that we'll always go to Gobo open. All right. So go ahead and add another value. And these DMX values are 124 through 133. 124 through 133. Now make sure to change this to Gobo 1. And go ahead, take this out. Make sure to add a Gobo qualifier, Gobo offset 0%. And we can set this to index. And we don't care about the value, so go ahead and set the value to any. So here for Gobo shake, we have 3 qualifiers: Gobo slots, Gobo offset with feature offset, Gobo rotate with feature index, and value any. So go ahead and finish adding the rest of the Gobos. Okay, so I finished adding all my Gobo shakes. It didn't take that long. Make sure your DMX values are correct. Make sure your real world values are correct, and make sure that all of these qualifiers are set to all. So our next step is to add Gobo rotation or Gobo spin in this case. So if you look, it'll say, let's go down here. If you'll look, you'll see that it says forward real rotation, fast to slow. It's exactly like color spin. So we're going to change this to function Gobo, feature spin. And we're going to do 1 through 300. Oh, not 200, sorry. 300. And then we can't have this qualifier. We don't care about this qualifier because we're spinning, so the offset's going to be any percent, really. And we don't care about this, but what we do care about is we care about Gobo shake. the reason why we care about Gobo Shake in this case, also, hold up, my apologies. It'll be 223 through 194. Forgot to change those values. So the reason why we care about Gobo Shake 0% is because we specifically disallowed Gobo Shake. Oh, let's see. Sorry, I passed it. We had specifically disallowed any value of spin on Gobo Shake 0.1 through 10 hertz. So now the console will be like, well, what value do you want me to go to? We need to tell it to go to 0 hertz. So go ahead and flip these values. And then the DMX values are 226 through 255. Then we're going to add above and make sure to keep the qualifier of 0% or 0 hertz. Set this to 0, and we can set this to a DMX value of 224. Awesome. And that is how you have our Gobo channel. It should fail to build. Oh, that's a different issue than what I was expecting. Let's see. It looks like from that error, I actually have something duping itself in its own qualifier, which is not allowed. My apologies. I somehow made a goof. But if I go over here, nothing seems particularly wrong. Oh, here we go. This needs to be set to any. Also, I did goof. I bet this is also set to not set correctly. Oh, geez. It all blends together. This is also set to any, or all, I mean, sorry. Channel 14 was not asserted. Okay. So basically, it should be telling us, even though we can't see the full message, it's saying that we don't have any real-world values for Gobo Rotate and Gobo Index, which is good, because we don't. We don't have those set up yet, but we'll go ahead and set those up. So we're going to add below, because the next channel is 16-bit. Go ahead and add a value, and then we're going to, whoopsie, thought that would work. We're going to attach 16 to 15. Okay, we're going to attach it to 15, and then we're going to change this to be 0 through 65, 535, and this is going to be a Gobo rotate of Gobo rotate with feature index -180 to 180, and we're going to add below again. Oops, I've goofed, because that is what our protocol says. So if you look for Gobo indexing, it says 0 through 255. So we're going to add another value, and we're going to basically do forward Gobo rotation fast to slow. So we know it's 127 through 1, which will get us 32767 256, and that will be a Gobo rotate of 1 through 300. That's beautiful. We're going to add below again, and we're just going to flip these, make these negative, -1, and these are a value of 129, 129, 255, which basically gets us, oh yeah, so that first value is correct. This last value is not. Let's go ahead and switch this over to the correct value, 65,535. And let's go ahead and add above, set this to 0, as we do. And it is a DMX value of 128, which gets us 33,023. Oh, we were so close. Hog was so close to getting it right. Go ahead and do that, and it should, haha, probably won't build. So let's go ahead and do our little export import, little swaparama. Okay, that should be fine. Aha! So, it worked. We now have our Gobo channel. It's all qualified against each other correctly. One of the things that kind of throws me off when I first start doing this is I want to also... I have a tendency to qualify... What's the word I'm looking for? To overqualify, which sounds really weird, where I will specifically shout out both Gobo Rotate Index and Gobo Rotate Feature Index and Gobo Rotate Feature Rotate. If that makes any sense. I will overqualify it in here, which will cause some issues over here. Basically, what would happen, and what you want to avoid, is basically you're kind of overqualifying and telling the board twice on what to do, and it really doesn't need that information. So now it'll get confused and try to get to this value of 0, but there's no way for it to really get to that value. It's not smart enough to pick the middle ground of this value, unfortunately. So don't be inclined to do that. And basically, here, let me show you just a little something that I find myself getting tripped up about. Oops, I did not mean to add that. Let me add something that's a little bit more of substance to show you. Basically, what I find myself trying to do sometimes is doing this, which is not... You don't want to do that. It'll cause a lot of issues, especially over here, and you'll have to do something a little strange with this channel. But in order to avoid that, simply don't do it. It tripped me up earlier. Every now and then I will still kind of go, oh yeah, that should work. Ah, bah, 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 bah. And no, that's not how that works. So please don't do that to yourself. Do yourself a favor. Love yourself. So now that we have our Gobo 1 channel with all of its qualifiers and real world values set up and everything, we're going to go on to Gobo Wheel 2, which is basically a carbon copy of this first wheel. So what we're going to do is we're just going to do the same thing. The only thing to note that's different is that we will be using Gobo function Gobo 2. So let's go ahead and add that. I'm going to add a value, and we're going to just say open. And we're going to go with Gobo 2, slots open, add a qualifier of Gobo 2 shake. And also, let's just add a qualifier of Gobo 2 offset 0%. Great, now we have our open value. And then because this one can also rotate, we're going to disallow. Oh, we're going to disallow with a qualifier of Gobo 2 rotate index -180 through -1. And we're going to do 1 through 180. And then basically we're just going to add Gobo rotate in there as well. And make sure to do that. Whoopsie. Great. So that's now qualified correctly. We're going to add below. Let's start with the first value, index or DMX value 12. Slots Gobo 1. And let's see what we get. This is not correct. Just gonna delete all of this stuff except this one. We're gonna change this one to Gobo 2 offset. And yes, that is correct. And we're gonna add a qualifier of Gobo rotate. And for this value, if we bring the protocol back, you will see that it says Gobo indexing. So we're gonna start with indexing exactly like we did last time. and make sure to set it to any value. And great, now we have it set up. Go ahead and complete the rest of these values for Gobo 2 indexing. All right, hey, I actually forgot to add a qualifier. I was in the middle of on Gobo 4 basically. Let's just actually finish that one because that's gonna bug me. I was in the middle of Gobo 4 and I was like, wait a minute, I'm forgetting one. We need one more qualifier, and that's for Gobo 2 Shake. See, it's so easy to overlook these small things, but sometimes later on they can really kind of eat your time whenever you're going, what the heck? I did everything correctly. So go ahead and make sure to add those qualifiers to all these values. All right. All right. Now, see you on the other side with the other 3 gobos that are left in this. All right. So I have all of my gobos. Now, something I noticed while I was doing this is I had added a value below this one when I had this one selected. Make sure you make all your qualifiers to be the all qualifier. Otherwise, you'll get some weird errors. You don't want to really deal with that. That can be quite obnoxious. So go ahead and make sure that all your qualifiers are all instead of any. It's a really easy mistake to make. I just made it and I didn't even catch it. So feel free to correct that little error. My bad. My apologies. All right. So our next step will be Gobo 2 rotation to be precise, which will basically be the same thing as we did last time on Gobo 1. So go ahead and start on that. We're going to add a value below. We're going to do Gobo 1. And we're going to make sure that this says rotate. Great. Oh, also, again, I keep on forgetting, make sure to set the real world value, the value, if you will, to any. It's so easy to forget because for whatever reason, Fixture Builder automatically assumes 0. All right, so we have all of our values, and it looks like I may have goofed. No, I didn't. Okay, all of my DMX values are correct. So our next step now is to go on to Gobo 2 shaking, which is the exact same thing. So we're going to start here with a disallowed. And let's just make sure to set our qualifier to any. Go ahead and delete this Gobo 2 offset qualifier. We're going to change this to Gobo to open. That's beautiful. We're going to add below and make sure that we disallow Gobo spin. And make sure to change this to Gobo to shake and 0.1 to 10 hertz. Great. So we now we have disallowed our Gobo to open and spin. Oh, once again, I get caught off guard with it assuming I want 0 instead of any. So go ahead and make sure that your disallowed looks like this. And then we're going to add one below. The first thing to do is make sure your qualifier is set to all. Set this to index. We don't care what value of index, so make sure to set that to any. And set this one to Gobo 1. And also, let's change this Gobo 2 spin to Gobo 2 offset. And make sure we stay at an offset of 0. And we're going to change this disallowed to the range 124, my bad, to 133. Okay, great. So now we have Gobo 1. Go ahead and add the rest of your Gobos. See you on the other side. All right, so we did all of our Gobo 2 shakes. They're all qualified correctly, I hope. Let's go ahead and just double check. So we have an index of any, Gobo 2 rotate with a feature of index of any, slots Gobo 7 with Gobo 2 offset 0%, and that value is 184 through 193. So yeah, it looks like we did everything correctly this time. Go ahead and add a value below, and we're going to change this to Gobo 2. And we're going to go to shake. or sorry, spin. My apologies. We're going to do 1 through 300. And that value, if we look at our protocol, is 194 through 223, but it says fast to slow, so it's 223 through 194. 223 through 194. And then make sure to add a qualifier. We don't need these anymore. We do need this one. We're going to add the qualifier of Gobo to shake 0 hertz because we disallowed any value of Gobo spin with a Gobo shake value of 0.1 through 10. We did that over here. So we're going to add another qualifier. Oh, sorry. No, we're not. I lied. We're going to add another value, and it's going to be 226 6 through 255. And we're going to make sure that is negative 300 through negative 1 RPM. And make sure our... Okay, it did. Just going to make sure our qualifier stayed through. We're going to go ahead and add a value above. And we're going to add a value of 0 RPM. And this needs to be set to 224. 224. Great. Now we have our Gobo 2 channel. And now we're going to add 2 channels below. We're going to add a value. We're going to attach this to 18. And we're going to change this to Gobo 2 rotate with a feature. Yep. And we're going to do 0 to that, I believe. Let's look at our... Let's go ahead and look at our protocol. So if we look at it, it says 0 to 255 for Gobo indexing. Beautiful. And now what I'm going to do, and I should have done it beforehand, start my application. Just want to make sure I get the right values. We're going to add a value here. We're going to change this to rotate. And we're going to change this to 1 through 300 RPM. And that value, cancel publish. My bad. I meant to just run it. I told it to build the actual application instead of running it in debug mode. Okay. So, actually, I should bring this over here. We need a value of 1 through 127. Actually, I lied. Wait. Yes, I did. It should be 127 through 1. So go ahead and make your DMX values 32767 and 256. So 32767, 256, and we're going to add a value below. And we're going to convert 128. And we're going to pick 33023. Lovely. The console kind of assumed what I wanted. That's pretty nice. Sometimes it's correct. Oftentimes it's wrong. 129, 255. So now we need to do 33024. Oops. 65535. Awesome. Okay. Let's just go ahead and export this just to make sure that that was a correct error. Okay, so it looks like I made a mistake. The real world values was wrong for this one. It was originally set to 0. It needs to be negative 300 to negative 1 RPM. So what we're going to do is let's make sure that this is okay. Then we're going to build type. And then let's go ahead and export it again. Okay, operation completed. And we're going to go ahead and import it, and it worked as we would expect. Okay, so I had goofed last time where this I kept it a value of 0. Make sure you change your real world values to what they need to be. Otherwise, you'll run into the same error I did. Super easy to do though, but also super easy to fix, which is no problem. All right, so keep on saying so. It's a great way to segue into things. Okay. The next step will be Prism, which should be pretty easy. It's a pretty straightforward channel. We have Prism 1, so basically we need to have Prism open and then another value for Prism indexing and Prism rotation, exactly like we did with Gobos. The only difference is... Actually, no, there would be no difference. I think that's it. The great difference is there's no fine channel, so you don't have to do any value conversion or anything. That'll be kind of nice. And yeah, so we're so close. We're almost there. Let's go ahead and start making channel 20. All right, we're going to add a value. We're going to add a DMX value of 1 or 0, sorry. Prism. Slots open. We're going to add a qualifier. And let's see. Let's make sure I'm doing this right. And then it's Prism offset. And we're going to do Prism offset of 0. And then what we're going to do next is add a disallow. And for our qualifiers, we will change this to Prism rotate. And it will be negative 180 through negative 1. And we're going to do 1 through 180. And then we're going to go ahead and do rotate 1 through 300. We're going to add another value. We're going to add another qualifier for negative 300 through negative 1. Awesome. So let's go ahead and let's add a value over here. We're going to move it down. Oh, something to not to forget this. Something to not forget, or something that I forgot to mention really, is make sure to change this qualifier type to any, so that we are allowed to do Prism rotate multiple times. All right. So our next step will be slot 1. Slot 1. And we're going to change that. Okay, no, that's actually correct. We're going to add value qualifier, a Prism rotate feature index, and we'll give it a DMX value of 30. Great. And we're going to add below. Great. And we're going to change this feature. Oh, sorry. We're going to change this feature to rotate. Make sure to change this value to any. Now, what we have is basically a truncated version of our Gobo channel. And we're going to have to add, just like we did with Gobos, we're going to have to add a Prism rotation channel. So 0, and this one will be much, much easier because now we don't have to do any math conversions or anything. I love it. I like it when you don't have to do that. Before, there was this big chart that was kind of a pain in the ass to use, but it was super useful because, well, we didn't have anything else. So, but now with some software, it does make it a little bit better. It's not as much of a pain in the butt. All right, and we're just going to flip these values. And that's going to be 129. Oh, whoopsie. 129. If I can actually type 255, we're going to add a value above. Make sure to set this to 0. And we're going to set the DMX value to 128. Okay. This should build. Famous last words. Haha. So I believe, if I recall correctly, there's going to be a little quirk with this setup. I will show you. And perhaps maybe it won't. And if it doesn't, that'll be good. Ooh, means less defects. Less defects for the win. All right. So we're going to go ahead and bring our panel over. We're going to go to beam. And we're going to go to prism. And then let's go ahead and turn this. Great. So it automatically went to slot 1, which is what we were expecting. And then it actually went to 0 degrees. Awesome. That actually worked as expected. Great. I have found instances where sometimes you need an escape, even though you shouldn't, which makes no sense, but you know, finally it's working. So I'm not going to look a gift horse in the mouth. That's awesome. Fortunately, we don't have to go over escapes today. That's a whole other beast in of itself. All right, so we're going to open up Fixture Builder. Now that we have our prism of our first prism channel done, let's take a look at our prism 2 channel. And guess what? It's basically the same thing. So go ahead and make your prism 2 channel. I will see you on the other side. Okay, so we have my first prism 2 channel set up right here. Pretty simple. Nothing too crazy. It's the exact duplicate of the first prism channel. So if you take a look, you'll see I disallowed my prism rotation and index on open, and I have my prism slot 1 and prism slot 1 both qualified against the correct DMX values. And to make sure that we all understand this, basically over here 30, we know that prism indexing is DMX value 30 and prism rotation is DMX value 60. And that's how I was able to get that information and make sure that they were qualified correctly. So let's go ahead on to channel 23. All right. So I finished channel 23, which should look exactly like channel 21, except instead of prism rotate, it's prism 2 rotation. So let's go ahead and build this. Oh. Well, that's interesting. Let's go make sure I didn't goof. Okay, it looks like we're all good over here. It looks like, what am I missing? Should not be missing anything. I'm not. This looks like it's a goof on Fixture Builder again. So we're going to go ahead and double check. We're going to import. Oh no, it is actually a goof on me. Combo slots 1. Ha. Oh. Yikes. I know what I did wrong. All right, there we go. Yeah, let's go ahead and export this again. Great. Now it should work. Okay, great. Now it works. So I goofed. It's really easy to do. I forgot that these values don't. I don't know. I forgot to change these values. I forgot to flip them. I thought I did, but I guess I didn't. So it was telling me that this value wasn't actually asserted on for a DMX value. It was basically going, hey, you don't really have this you don't have this mapped to any real world value. You don't have this completely mapped. So it was kind of throwing a fit about it. But Super easy mistake to make. Yeah, no, it's some of these issues that you'll run into, you'll be like, oh, well, I feel like a doofus. It's just kind of how it is. Welcome to Fixture Builder. All right, we're gonna go ahead and start on channel 24 and 25. Those two will be easy because if you look, it'll just say light frost and heavy frost, which is pretty self-explanatory. Nothing too crazy over there. So let's go ahead and make those two channels. So we're going to do 0 through 255, and we're going to do frost, if I can spell, and variable 0 through 100%. Then we're going to add another frost, basically. The only difference is this is going to be, if I stop making typos, this will be frost 2, and 0 through 100%. And now we have 24 and 25. So go ahead and add channel 26, which if you look is our strobe channel. So this one is actually pretty easy. Oh, wait. Sorry, not strobe. I apologize. Our iris. It's our iris channel. They keep on using the same nomenclature for both pulse and strobe, or for strobe and iris, just because they do the same functions, I guess, or have the same features. It'll be basically like the strobe channel, except this time it will be with function iris. So let's go ahead and start working on this one. So this is just add a value. We're going to add basically 1 through 127, and this will be iris. And it'll be feature aperture, and it'll be 0 to 100%. We're going to add a value below, and we're going to change this to a feature of, let's see. Our next one will be pulse close, which I believe is ramp snap. That'll be 0 hertz, which will mean we will be using DMX 0 for that. Add below again. We will switch it to 0.1 through 10 hertz, and then make sure to change your DMX value to 130 through 154. Awesome. So we're going to add another value below. We're going to change that to 0 hertz. We're going to change that to DMX value 0. And we're going to do, I believe this one is snap. No. It's pulse open slow to fast. That leaves me, it'll be snap ramp. Now we're just going to basically do the same thing. And now we're going to change this DMX value of 255 to 155 through 179. And then our next one will be random pulse closing. So we're going to add a value below. We're going to add a value above. So we're going to set this to DMX value 0, set this to real world value of 0 hertz, and set this to, what is it? Random pulse closing. So random ramp snap, and this will be random ramp snap. And this will be DMX value 180 through 204. And then we're going to add below. We're going to add below. We're going to move it down. And we're going to make this value 0. And go ahead and change this to a DMX value of 205 through 229. And this will be random snap ramp and random snap ramp. Okay, this should all build. Awesome. So now we have our iris channel. And if we look, oh no, I goofed. I forgot that this is a 16-bit channel. So now we're going to have to convert all of those values to 16-bit values. So go ahead and, whoopsie, add below. And we're going to attach this to 26. There you go. Oh, hey, look at that. It does it automatically for us. Thank you, Fixture Builder. You did something right. I like that. Okay, great. And it should just build. Lovely. So now we're going to do iris fine. Oh, sorry. Zoom fine and focus fine. My apologies. And those are pretty self-explanatory. If I add below and then add a value, and then let's actually attach this to 28, and then add a range of the full range, and this will be zoom. So we have a function of zoom with a feature of zoom and 0 through 100%. Lovely. And then we're going to do the same thing, except this time, instead of zoom, it will be focus. So we're going to add that. Go ahead and attach your channel 30. Do a full DMX range, and then change this to focus. So go ahead, okay, variable, and make sure it's 0 to 100% so we get the full range. So now you have your focus channel and your zoom channel, and they're both 16-bit. And if you build type, it should just build. Lovely, lovely. So select your last channel, add below, and our next channel will be animation. So let's go ahead and go to slots. We're gonna make this open. That's amazing. All right, add a qualifier, and we're gonna add an animation offset of 0%. Go ahead and set this to 255, because I know the protocol says it's a linear insertion, but here where it's all or nothing. That's the way Hog is gonna operate, so that's how we're gonna operate it as well. We're gonna say slot 1, and go ahead, add a qualifier of animate rotate, and set this to any, and also set the qualifier to any, and go ahead and add below and set this to rotate and set this to any. Awesome. So we're going to add below again. This time we're going to disallow. Oops. We're going to disallow. And we're going to change this to animate rotate. -180 through -1. Add below. 1 through 180. And then same thing with animate rotate. 1 through 3. Oh, keep on doing that. 1 through 300. Add below. -300 through -1. Okay, so we have this all set up now. Go ahead and add a channel below for channel 33. Add a value. And if you look at our protocol, you will see our animation rotation channel, which is basically exactly like our Prism and Gobo rotation channel. So go ahead and start working on that. See you on the other side. All right. So I just finished creating channel 33 and 32. This is what they look like. Oh, I forgot something. I forgot to change this to an any qualifier. All right, good. This should... Ooh, I also forgot this. Look how many mistakes are easy to make. All right. Let's go ahead and try to build this. And it should... Okay, built perfectly fine. I have doubts. Let's go ahead and export this just to make sure I didn't goof. And we're just gonna, great. Because, fun fact, sometimes Fixture Builder will allow a toxic profile to be made. Oh, thank God. All right, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and patch it and see what's up. And let's go ahead and open our nano panel. Where did it go? Who knows? There we go. All right, so go to beam. Let's go to animate. Let's go ahead and turn this. Okay, great. We saw our DMX value go to 255. And if we try to rotate it or index it, really, it should index just fine. Okay, good. It looks like we qualified it correctly. And that's awesome. It looks like the way that I thought it would work is actually how it would work. Oh, let's go ahead and make sure to go to open. Awesome. Oh, I like when it works the first time. Sometimes I guess wrong and I'm like, oh, I think this should work. No. There are times where I get it wrong. And times where I get it right. And I'm like, why did that work? Oh, geez. Oh, what fun. All right, so I think this is where I'm going to end the video for today. The next step is going to be our beautiful blade or framing channels. I keep on wanting to call them whatever the protocol says, but they're basically all the frames, frame 1A, 2A, 1B, etc. And then we have our macro, and then we have some focus tracking stuff. And then our last little friend here will be control, and hopefully we'll get that done in the next video.